So today, as we're going down our starting YouTube list, we're going to get into a little bit of talking of Lord of the Rings and just general fantasy. Um, it really started many moons ago when I was a young lad in the coastal region of Mobile, Alabama. My first dive into the world of high fantasy was actually Star Wars, which is a space opera with wizards and knights. That's what it is. The whole thing is space knights and space wizards fighting out on space stations um, with laser swords and you know, wizard abilities. And I loved it. And I watched the heck out of those VHSs. VHSs are a small rectangle with tape on the inside, and that's how I used to watch everything or record movies off of TV, which I also have all of the original films off of TV on VHSs. But I digress. So it's kind of where it all started, and it has spiraled out of control to here. I think I was about not 20 something. I was so 2003 when the Lord of the Rings movies around that time came out, and I went and saw them in theaters and loved them, and watched them many times afterwards. I think I've had every version of its release on DVD or digital or VHS or one or the other. Um, and so yeah, it's gotten to the point where between that and The Hobbit, I almost watch them every single day. Not necessarily as intensely as the first time, but when you watch something over and over again, you pick up all the small little nuances and all the small little details that you miss in the first, viewing. And so it's actually become something I wouldn't say based my life around, but heavily influenced by in my life. I moved to these mountains. They really reminded me of, some of the terrain that the Fellowship traveled in. I came here the first time in 2008 to Asheville originally, and fell in love with the place and just loved the idea of hiking, walking through the wild, pretending I was Aragorn and part of the Hunters Three, and that's continued on to where I am now, where I even I do trail work half the year, so I'm out there for a living, or roaming the forests and maintaining the King's Trails, which is awesome. And then into my leather work as well, all of my bags and things that I make. The idea is kind of something you would take on an adventure, or you would see someone in that fantasy type frame, if you will, have something like that, handmade out of leather, hardy. Having influences of wilderness, woodsman, and a little bit of dwarvish in there, as much as I can, more, hopefully, as my skill progresses. Yeah, it's just something that you would take out with you, and escape from synthetics and stuff from overseas and all this stuff, and you can have it made by someone, 10 miles away versus 10 people 1,000 miles away. So yeah, everything from Renaissance festivals to hiking trips to endlessly quoting some of my favorite characters. It's been a huge influence on my life, and anytime anybody wants to talk about it, I will talk about it until the cows come home, which is usually about 4 a.m. That's kind of my lead-off time. Let's try jumping into something else from here.